not me developing a crippling caffeine addiction. I tend to have trouble going to sleep at night sometimes. Like, you know, throughout the day your brain is like filled with thoughts and like schedules and, you know, deadlines that you have to meet, and then you come back at night and you're like, you lie in bed, you know, I switch off the lights, I'm like, yes, today's gonna be good, I'm gonna curb that caffeine addiction. And I lie down in bed and the next time I check the time, it's 1 AM. And I haven't slept because my brain is just like buzzing with thought. And on those nights sometimes I'll put on one of those, you know, those like 10-hour long like rain sounds, or like fire crackling, you know, the stuff I'm talking about, those videos. Yeah, the 10-hour long ones, and you know, sometimes it works and like in like 30 minutes to an hour I'm asleep, and other times I need something more. And on those nights I put on an Exerbia video. Exerbia is this YouTube channel that, it's a little bit hard to describe. Think of it as like a little mini existential crisis, like little 20-minute existential crises, and like and like he does videos on like all of them, technically most of them are about like philosophy or like science and like the meaning of life. And he makes like references to like literary text that I've never read, but I don't know, there's something comforting in listening to a grown man have no clue, you know, about why we're here. And and I put on an Exerbia video and it generally tends to work, and like it helps me to fall asleep. But then one night I was having a particularly hard time going to sleep, and I was like, I don't know what that face was, let's put on an Exerbia video. And I typed Exerbia into the search bar, and if I scroll down low, because I'd seen all the top ones, I was scrolling down like, I need a video. And I did find a video, it just wasn't what I was, you know, hoping for. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was something like The Truth About Exerbia, something like that, I don't know. And I saw this and I felt like just this dread, just like knotting in my stomach, and I ignored it. I'll confess, I ignored it. And every night I kept ignoring it. And then it got to a point I was like, oh, I have to look at this, don't I? So I did. I watched the video, and it was basically making these accusations at Exerbia that he raped his girlfriend and then ran away to another country, and it was talking about like police files and blah blah blah, and I was like, crap. Crap. And it left me feeling very confused, but I was like, you know what, it might not be true. Let's, you know, do the right thing and like do my own research, and I did, and the more I looked into it, the more confused and angry I felt. You know, I really liked his videos, like I really looked up to his writing style. When I thought I wanted to do a YouTube channel, I thought I'd probably do something like Exerbia's style, where he, you know, explores like these concepts. And I don't know, just his humour and everything, and to realise that he potentially has hurt and like ruined someone's life that way, I wasn't ready for it. So yeah, Exerbia is my problematic favourite. It feels like it's almost impossible these days to like get into something or get into someone, because like something will come up and oh no, this person turned out to have, you know, been incredibly, I don't know, homophobic. I don't know, everybody's just so bad. Like, why are all these famous people so awful? Why are all the people that we look up to so problematic? And even more, what do we do with all these problematic people? When we're thinking about why so many of the people that we look up to seem to be so problematic, I think some of it is that we're very perfectionist. Like, as a society, we're very, very perfectionist. We take the people that we like and we blow them up and up and up and up, and we put them on this pedestal. We tell them that they are gods and they can do no wrong and do no harm and do no evil. We expect perfection from them. And when they prove to be just as human as we are, we get angry. It feels almost like a betrayal. And I think that's sort of what the more toxic aspects of like cancel culture really latches onto. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh no, cancel culture is like the worst thing to happen to all of humanity. I'm not making fun of people with that opinion. I just it feels a little bit exaggerated to me. I think that cancel culture, I don't think it's inherently evil. I think cancel culture fundamentally is mob justice, and I think it's kind of inevitable, right? Like, we have all these celebrities and these influencers and coming out, they're turning to be very like problematic, and the platforms that, you know, support them or whatever, they're not taking any action to, you know, to remove their dangerous contents off the site. So of course people are going to take the matters into their own hands. Cancel culture is fundamentally people saying this is the kind of person that we want to see up there. And I think that kind of like critical evaluation of the people that we give these vast amounts of power, all our time and our effort and our love to, like, I think it's really important to be critical of them. It's just that the problem with mob justice is control, and cancel culture has a similar kind of problem, is that when people get bloodthirsty, once they smell blood, they will get their blood. They'll get their blood. But still, it's important to like look at the people that we, you know, look up to and think, is this really the kind of person that I want to, you know, support? And, you know, when you've done that critical evaluation and you realize, oh wow, this person ain't it, chief. What do you do then? What do you do with these problematic heroes? Some people are like, just throw the whole influencer out, throw the whole celebrity out. And I'm going to talk about Death of the Author now, and I don't think you can really talk about Death of the Author without bringing up J.K. Rowling for a multitude of reasons. J.K. Rowling is a very, very interesting figure, in the sense that she's very, very active. She's very active with her fan base. Like, people who love, like, when you say Harry Potter, people think J.K. Rowling. She's so attached to the work. She does all these like meet and greets. She's very, very active in her role as the author. And a lot of people, and now that it's come out that she is a massive transphobe, a lot of people, you know, who look up to this figure, you know, who wrote this amazing book about the importance of you know, accepting people, accepting yourself as who you are, and like individual strength and everything. It's like, what do you do with this figure who's been so influential like in your life? And a lot of people try to employ Death of the Author here and say, oh, it's fine, we just kill off the author. What the Death of the Author says is that we can and should analyze a text as kind of independent from the author. It says that the work has its own meaning. That the role of the author is just to put together different. So basically, no story is new. We're basically being told the same stories over and over again, and what the author does is that they take all of these stories and they kind of stitch them together to make like a new story. So they don't have the authority to put in any new meaning into the story, because the story is kind of a collage of like different stories, and so we should interpret the story independent from the author. And that way the author they don't take up this like godlike role. Instead, you find meaning individually. And I have some mixed feelings about this. Personally, I do think that it's the biographical interpretations of works isn't necessarily like the best thing to be doing. I think it's kind of a little bit limiting. Like, for example, there's this author, Sylvia Plath. And one of the main things that people know about Sylvia Plath is that she killed herself. And so when we sit down and we like look at her poems and we look at her novel, The Bell Jar, people tend to like analyze it under those conditions. But I think it can kind of be a little bit limiting to be looking for traces of the author, you know, in a work that they've created. But then at the same time, I don't really think it's very possible to completely like divorce the author from their work. Like Barth said, what the author does is that they give us these same old stories and they present them to us as new. Like they add something of their own individuality to it, and that's what makes it their story. And you just can't deny that the context and the times and what was happening in that author's life and like the big movements at that time, there's no denying that those things will inevitably have some influence on the work. And I don't think it's very useful to like completely ignore all of that. Like, how will you read Macbeth? Because I'm doing Macbeth at the moment at school. How will you read Macbeth and just like ignore that it was written after the gunpowder plot? Like, it's such a core part of the story. And I don't know, I just have very, very mixed feelings about it. And then we get to this place with J.K. Rowling, because the thing with J.K. Rowling is that she very, very much embraces that author god role that Barth says that we should abandon. Like, she's notorious for going back and like changing the meanings of certain things and like adding new subtext after she's published the work. Like, how do you take someone who is like so core to her body of work, like how do you take someone like that and kill her off? And the answer is, I don't know what the answer is. I think it's probably a good idea for me to just confess that I haven't actually read Harry Potter. I remember in primary school my teacher was like, you know, here, I don't remember which one it was, but she was like, yeah, she thought I would like it, and I read the first 2 pages. I got so bored. I never finished it. I don't think I even finished the first chapter of it. It just wasn't my thing. So it's not really something that I'm having to navigate, at least to the extent that I imagine other people are having to do. Like, one of my favorite video essays is on Newt Scamander. And I know that's, I don't remember what the name of it, the spin-off one that she made, I don't know. And it does sting a little bit, because I really like Newt Scamander as a character. I've not seen the film. But like the video essay has a lot of like emotional kind of weight for me, and it is a little bit difficult to think that this character that I find to be so comforting comes from someone that like has hurt other people in that way. Like, it is really, really difficult to have to navigate. And some people try to employ the death of the author here, and they say, okay, we'll just kill off J.K. Rowling. She didn't write the Harry Potter series. That, never mind, I was gonna make a joke, but I don't remember what the character's name is. I saw this one meme that was like Miku, I don't know, and I don't know, all I know is that if you're going to read Harry Potter or like watch the films, I think it's probably a good idea to buy it secondhand or borrow it, that way at least she doesn't, you know, profit off of it. My brain is like dead. I'm not ever going to see the film that has Newt Scamander, and I still don't remember what it's called. And I'm not going to, like, I understand that it's very, very difficult to have someone who's played like such a big role in your formation, in like finding who you are. I understand that it's difficult to like give somebody like that up, and I completely understand if that's not something that you can like do, if you can't like give up the entire Harry Potter franchise. Like, it's moved on, it's had like an entire like world outside of her. Like, it means so much for so many people. I think what you do with J.K. Rowling and what you do with Harry Potter is going to be something, it's going to be a decision that you have to like arrive to on your own. So on the other side of that, on the flip side of it, you have film bros. Quentin Tarantino. Okay, I'm going to preface this by saying that I really, really like Quentin Tarantino. Like, I respect him as a director. I think his writing is just amazing. Like, I saw Kill Bill and I did not shut up about it for like a full month after seeing it. Like, it was so good. And like, my mum is like a big Quentin Tarantino fan. So I was like, I saw Kill Bill, loved it. I was like, yes, I'm gonna like go into Pulp Fiction and like just like love him even more. And Pulp Fiction was a film. I saw it, right, and like I enjoyed some of it. Like the scene with Uma Thurman at the diner, that was so good. Like the writing in that, like I just generally just kind of enjoyed that storyline of it. Oh, and the scene with the burger, and he's like reciting like the Bible verse, and he's like, I'm gonna shoot you, and he like shoots the guy. Yeah, that scene was like really good. But then as the film kind of went on, I started to feel this kind of growing discomfort, especially in the scene towards the end, where they're like in that basement, and it's essentially, they essentially play sexual assault as a joke, and that was just deeply uncomfortable to have to like sit through. Especially, and like it was just really difficult to ignore like the homophobia. And then also like when we're learning about how difficult, about how a lot of men have like difficulty with emotional vulnerability and like coming forward about sexual assault, and you have someone like Terry Crews, I think that's his name, you know, getting so much like harassment for being a black man that has been sexually assaulted by another man. Like, it was really difficult to sit through that scene with all of that contextual knowledge in my head. And then even as you move forward towards the end of the film, and you know, Quentin Tarantino comes into the film for like 5 minutes and says the N-word and then just dips out. It was like, why? That didn't need to happen. That didn't need to happen. Like, I think that you can have a white actor say the N-word and have it like be good and have it, you know, further the plot and like be used to give a message and like actually do something with it rather than just coming on screen to say a slur, because that's very much how it felt like. It felt like he sat there and was like, I didn't know I said that. It felt like he sat there and was like, it's fine if you can't say that I said it because I was playing a character when I said it. It felt so unnecessary. And so after seeing the film, I was like, okay, I can't like be the only person to have like these mixed feelings about the film. So I went on like a bunch of like online spaces. I was like, yo, what do you guys think about like Pulp Fiction, like Googled and stuff. And most of the feedback, I say most, all the feedback I saw was generally very, very positive. And when you try to like criticize that film and be like, he probably shouldn't have said the N-word, it didn't, you know, add anything to the story, people get mad at you and they're like, or if you talk about the homophobia in that scene and the way it plays like sexual assault as a joke, people are like, it's like, that's just like cinema and like, it's just how it was back then. But that's something I hear a lot. That's something I hear a lot. That's just the way it was back then, and that then excuses a work of art and like makes it uncriticizable. I don't think that's a very, it feels kind of lazy, I won't lie. Because you've not addressed my criticism. Yeah, sure, it was made in like 1994, I don't remember. But that doesn't mean the scene was any less homophobic. Like, it still is homophobic. You've not addressed the point I've made. I've said a thing and you've said another thing. Like, and I understand that it can be a little bit hard, especially if you feel like emotionally attached to a film, to see it, you know, or just any work really, to see it get criticized that way. But I don't know, maybe there's a beauty in criticizing the things we love. Because again, it comes back to that perfection that I was talking about. It's perfectionism. We put these people up on like platforms and we say that they have to be perfect, and so when they're not perfect, we either get furious at them and we want to like tear them apart, or we try to pretend they are regardless. And that's just, it's not very conducive. Like, it's just not very productive. It's hard, but I think we need to, it's something that we need to kind of think about a little bit more. Like, criticism isn't directed at you. It's not about you. I'm not saying that you're a bad person for liking Pulp Fiction. I liked Pulp Fiction too. I thought the writing was amazing. The acting was, oh my god. But you can know that, you can understand that. And you can understand that it was written in a time that people were just homophobic just for the laughs. You know, just because. But then you can also understand that that's not okay and that it's something that we need to talk about when we're talking about Pulp Fiction. You can have that nuanced opinion. I just wish that we would get to the point where we understood that that it's completely okay for the people that we look up to, and the things that we look up to, and the things that we put that gold frame of like, this is what is important, this is what high art is. It's important for us to realize that those things don't have to be perfect, and maybe there's a beauty in imperfection, and there's a strength in being able to look back at a film from the 80s and go, yikes, that was kind of racist, maybe we should not have done that, because I mean, it means that we've moved on and we've gotten to a point where we're starting to realize more and more the ways that the things that we say and do can, you know, accidentally, unintentionally hurt people. And that's good, like, that's progress. Like, that's inevitable that as time goes on, the things that we look back on will be yikes. Like, I will look back on this video in, like, years and just be like, ooh. And it's something that you just kind of have to embrace. It's just part of growth, it's part of growing, and that's okay. So where does that leave us. I think that as we move forward, I just really want us to kind of embrace nuance. Like you can acknowledge multiple things about a work. I think it makes for much better analysis anyway, to like look at a work and think, oh well, how might this have like to be able to hold those like dual analyses of the same piece of work. I think it makes for a better understanding of the text just as a whole anyway. Like you can acknowledge that Quentin Tarantino is a good director and he is a good writer, but that a lot of his the scenes, not just one scene, the scenes in Pulp Fictions were kind of not it, chief. And things don't have to like fit very neatly into the good or the bad box. And I think that there's almost this idea that people have that, okay, this person is like critically acclaimed, and that kind of like erases all the negatives of it. Like these things don't cancel out. And I think some of the reason that that our default is kind of to weigh the good and bad and to try to find out, you know, what cancels what. Like, are they so bad that the goods don't, you know, measure up? Are they so good that we can just ignore they're bad? I think some of that is this desire to fit things very nicely into good and bad boxes. Like, oh, J.K. Rowling wrote a best-selling franchise, but she was transphobic, so does this make her good or bad? It makes her neither. It makes her a human being with some very yikes opinions, but a human being nonetheless, and maybe things don't have to fit very nicely into a good or bad box. Maybe we can look at a work and acknowledge that duality to it. Yeah, I think being able to do that is kind of a sign of growth. I think it's growth. Yeah. I love Lana Del Rey. Her vocals and like the poeticism of her lyrics, like, oh my god. But I would be lying if I said I didn't sometimes feel this tinge of discomfort sometimes for the way that some of her work can kind of come off like it romanticizes abuse, just a little bit. And this isn't really something that I want to go into too much depth with at the moment. It's something that has been kind of like in the back of my head for like a really long time, but I was never really able to like talk about it. And then I saw this video that talks also about problematic faves. That's the title of the video, and what to do with them. And so I think I'll probably yeah, so it's something I'll really talk about right now. But yeah, and there's also this rapper called Tokyo's Revenge, and I love like a lot of this stuff. I've been getting really into this type of rap that I can't really it's very angsty, very grimy, very and he's one of my favorite rappers from that genre, and he has a song called Thought. Thought. And I won't lie, Thought is a bop. It's a very good song. It's very fun. But again, I would be lying if I said I didn't feel about some of the words in it. And I think at first I tried to like rationalize away my discomfort. Like I tried to defend Tokyo's Revenge and be like, oh, but you know, it's not his fault, like he has, like she's the one, you know, making all these unwanted advances, and I try to explain away that discomfort and kind of try to run away from it a little bit. And I don't know, maybe there's some piece of media out there that also fills you with that kind of bubbling undertone of discomfort, and I don't think that's a very bad thing. I don't think the answer is to run away from it, like I've definitely tried to do. I think the answer is to kind of sit with it and to explore it and think, okay, why do I feel this discomfort? What is it about this piece of media? That's how you learn. All growth, all learning comes with discomfort, and as they say, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable if you want to grow. If you want to be a better ally, you have to sit with it. And I did that with thought, and again, I tried to reason my way out of it, but I came to the realization, to the conclusion that nope, it's just misogyny. He's just slut-shaming this girl. All the other rappers in that same, like, very, you know that TikTok sound that goes ha 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 ha, that goes ha ha ha, yeah. One of the rappers from that crap, the rapper that did that song, his name is Lil Darky, and he's one of the, it's the same category of like very, very angsty, very grimy rap. Grimy? I don't know if it's grime. I realise that when I say grime, it sounds like I'm talking about grime as in like the subgenre of like British rap. No, I'm talking about grime as in like never mind. I'm complicating this. I'm complicating it. But yeah, and I've listened to like a bunch of songs from that kind of area, and a lot of them seem to have like this. The Little Darky guy, he has a song called Genocide, and it's like 10-minute song, and it's actually really, really good. Like, I really like it, but some of the lyrics are just kind of yikes. And I don't know, there's this, if you listen to, what's his name, Tyler the Creator, like his earlier stuff as well, it's also that like similar subgenre, and they almost have this like narrative of like, oh no, we're oppressed because they're trying to silence us and like cancel everybody, and like, oh no, the scary leftists, the liberals are coming for us. And it's just very yikes stuff, and I don't know, but I've slowly stopped listening to thought. I just can't. I'm sorry, I can't say thought without. I can't say it with a straight face. But I've stopped listening to thought, and I've slowly fallen out of love with Lana Del Rey. And I can't watch an Exerbia video without that image of the woman that he raped just overlaying everything, you know? So yeah, I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all answer to this. And I'm not suggesting that we mass cancel any of these figures. I don't think it would be particularly helpful anyway. Like, I feel like some of these rappers, I know I didn't go too much in depth about that just because it was a separate topic altogether. I'm actually quite interested in it. It's something I've been thinking about as well. Kind of that narrative of influential figures somehow thinking that they're oppressed because we said, oh, can you maybe not call people that? You know, like, that's not really oppression. But it's something that I've been thinking about for a little bit, and I don't know, maybe I'll write something about that, or like make a video about it, I don't know. But yeah, I didn't go too much into depth with it because it was just a different topic altogether. But I feel like some of it comes from, like, someone like Trisha Paytas. Cancelling someone like her doesn't really do very much because she does it to be cancelled. She does it because cancelling pays the bills. Because when you tell someone to, when you get cancelled, you get flooded with comments under your YouTube videos, and people like come and watch your video like over and over again. And at that point, aren't we just giving them a bigger platform anyway? And also there's just degrees to this. Like, Exerbia raped somebody, and Tokyo's Revenge just said some kind of things, you know? There are degrees to this, and I think, again, some of it is just that black and white thinking of, like, do we cancel or do we not cancel them? I think that there are degrees to it, and we can't have a one-size-fits-all kind of response to every situation. I don't know what the answer is, but I think the first step is kind of remembering that the people that we put up on these pedestals, they're not gods. They're humans just like us, and they are capable of wrong, and they will disappoint us time and time again. It's just part of being human. It's just part of being human. What the next step is, though, I think that's a little bit trickier. And I think that's something that we all have to kind of individually decide and make that decision again every single time we're met with a new situation. I don't think that we can decide, okay, this is what we're going to do every single time someone disappoints us. I think that magnitude and context really matters a lot, and it's probably something that we should carry forward with us. And then after that, I don't know. And I don't know, maybe that's okay. I had to do that. But yeah.